She-Hulk will be smashing her way through our screens quite soon. MCU fans have already been going nuts over this new take on a superhero legal show and expect it to be a smash hit, or rather a Hulk smash hit. To give hungry fans something to chew on till the show's release, Marvel has revealed some brand new behind the scenes of She-Hulk, and in this video we'll share all the new deets you need to know. Firstly, the behind the scenes video shows us new clips of the show with interviews from the cast. The video starts with Tatiana Maslany, who plays She-Hulk on the show, explaining her character's origin story. She's an attorney who accidentally takes in the Hulk's blood, and because of that, begins to want to smash things herself. A brief new look at a scene shows that both her character and Bruce Banner will be involved in some kind of car accident, and that's when she will receive her powers. Comic book fans were quick to point out how this was a tad different to how things play out in the comic books. In the comics, Jennifer Walters gets her powers because she is dying and in need of a blood transfusion. With Bruce being the only available person there, he decides to give his blood to her, but not without a bit of hesitation of his own. It looks to us that the tone of this series is more lighthearted, and so starting off with the protagonist literally on death's bed might have not been the best choice. So we can definitely see why they chose to change up how she got her powers. Although, if you're a diehard comic book fan, then this change might not be your cup of tea. Next, the executive producers gave their input. Executive producer Kevin Feige and co-executive producer Wendy Jacobson were also a part of the behind-the-scenes snippet and gave us their thoughts on the making of the series. Feige comments on how surreal and funny it is to see a giant 6'7" Hulk in the courtroom, and from the footage we've seen, it does seem that there will be plenty of moments of legal drama going on in this show. But of course, it wouldn't be Marvel if there wasn't action involved. It seems that She-Hulk's day in court may be interrupted by a villain or two. Also, Jacobson adds that putting a real human being into these absurd situations is bound to lead to comedy. We've seen plenty of heroes take up the role of what it means to save the world. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So it's certainly gonna be interesting to see a hero go, nah, I'll stick to being a lawyer, even as a 6'7" Hulk. We honestly can't wait to see the chaos unfurl. Moving on, She-Hulk is redefining what an MCU show can be. So far, while the MCU series on DisneyPlus have all had their own unique flair, most, if not all of them, fall into the same mold of superhero shows. That seems to be changing with She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which is a Marvel show and a Law show in equal parts. During the behind-the-scenes video, Renee Elise Goldsberry, who plays Mallory Book on the show, says that She-Hulk is a combination of these two genres, while still managing to be different from what people know either of them to be. With She-Hulk's new spin on the MCU, many fans are now wondering if this could pave the way for more shows set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that don't strictly fall into the category of superhero shows. How about a show of Peter trying to make do as a struggling reporter at the Daily Bugle? Sounds to us like an MCU version of The Office. Who wouldn't watch that? And of course, the series keeps She-Hulk's meta humor intact. Besides Deadpool, She-Hulk remains one of the most tongue-in-cheek characters that Marvel has to offer. Jessica Gao, a writer and executive producer on the show, explains during the video how She-Hulk often broke the fourth wall and was super meta in the comics. With that in mind, it's likely that we'll be seeing plenty of moments where Jennifer Walters will be looking right at the camera and talking to the audience directly. Hey, with all the multiverse mumbo-jumbo going on, we wouldn't be surprised if Feige said that we, the audience, are also part of the Marvel multiverse. Anything is possible. Lastly, She-Hulk must learn what it means to be a hero. Unlike most heroes who may accept their powers' responsibility, Walters just doesn't have it. During the behind-the-scenes video, Kat Coiro, the director of the series, explains how this idea of being a superhero just doesn't appeal to her at all. All she wants is to remain a normal lawyer. But with her powers, there's no way to reverse it, unless we were to ask Doctor Strange to carry out that spell he did for Spider-Man. But let's not go down that road again. Will Jessica learn to find a balance between her legal work and superhero work? Guess we'll just have to watch the show on August 17th to find out. Now, time for some other news. Firstly, John Boyega debunks rumor of him joining the MCU. At this point, new celebrities joining the MCU is really just no big deal. With the rate at which the Marvel Cinematic Universe is expanding, we can expect half of Hollywood to be a part of it by the end of Phase 6. That's what makes the news of someone not joining the MCU much more interesting, though. John Boyega recently debunked some rumors of him joining the MCU. In a recent interview with Men's Health, the Star Wars actor stated that a Marvel role isn't really in his vision right now. He instead wants to do some more nuanced things that offer fresh ideas. Boyega also added how it's going to be really hard to top Iron Man in the MCU. We can see where he's coming from. Any new actors joining the franchise at this point will likely be compared to everyone who's come before. And let's just say those are some Hulk-sized shoes to fill. Working on a franchise as large as the MCU is sure to come with a lot of fan expectations too. You could play a role really well, but if it strays too far from the comic book version, it's sure to rile up some fans. With so many strings attached, John's decision to stay a few multiverses away from the MCU makes total sense to us. Next, Warner Brothers kills Batgirl movie after it was already done filming. Someone at Warner Brothers is a huge fan of these memes that say, "Never let them know your next move," because that's exactly what their mantra has been for years now. The studio recently announced they'd be leaving their Batgirl film on the cutting room floor. And not just one or two scenes, the entire thing. News of the film getting axed was made public earlier this week and came as a shock not just to the fans, but to all of Hollywood. Having a budget of $75 million initially and then $90 million due to COVID-related reasons, the film was done shooting shooting months ago. In fact, it was in the process of being test screened according to directors Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Falal. Basically, the film had already been made and was just at the stage of getting the fans' attention before it was scrapped entirely. Once again, the DCEU leaves everyone surprised, and once again, not really in the best of ways. Lastly, Sadie Sink to star as a villain in the MCU. Fans saw just how great of an actor Sadie Sink is during the latest season of Stranger Things, and the blooming star has now seemingly found herself a new role that's sure to catch everyone's attention. Sink is set to appear as a villain in Marvel's Thunderbolts, a new TV series planned for 2024. While some were expecting her to be cast as a younger Wanda Maximoff because, of course, they look identical, instead, it seems she'll be introduced as a completely new character in the MCU. While there's no real confirmation yet, fans think she'll be playing the role of Songbird, a character who looks quite innocent at first glance but is not to be trusted in the least. It's definitely exciting to see Sink expand her career, but we do wonder if this new gig at Marvel will conflict with any potential Stranger Things shooting. Last we saw of Max, she was stuck in a coma, and the news of her being in the Thunderbolts series has people wondering if we're ever going to see her wake up. There are no official details on when the Stranger Things season is supposed to come out, but it will probably be sometime around 2024, just considering the wait from season 3 to season 4. Both of these shows seem to be in production close to one another, so will Sadie Sink have the time to work on both of them, or will the Duffer Brothers have to keep her in a coma as a way of writing out her character? It'll definitely be a weird choice for that to be her character's end, but then again, we've seen Stranger Things. That's a wrap for this video. Are you excited to watch She-Hulk Attorney at Law? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!